Oh, I didn't want to do this one. Hold on. I'm on the wrong tab. Silly me. There we are. Good morning.
EA says.
Good morning, Rudy.
It says. The B says. The C says. And it says.
There we go. Now I can see everyone.
The D says. The E says. And it says. The F says. The G says. And it says. The H says. The I says. And it says.
I.
The J says. The K says. The L says. The M says. The N says. The O says. The P says. The Q says. The R says. The S says. And it says. The T says. The U says. And it says. You. The V says. W says. The X says. The Y says.
Yeah.
And it says.
I.
And Z says.
All right. Make sure I get. No, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
No.
And I am very tricky. I can jump on a vowel, leap over a consonant, and stand next
Good
to it
morning,
quietly.
Jimmy. Good to see
When I do
you.
this,
I
I make
love
the
those
vowel say its
glasses, by the
own
way.
name.
Those are rocking.
All I have to do is stay quiet. That is why they call me Silent E. I can change hop to hope. I can change slop to slope. I make a vowel say its name when I play the jumping game. I can change can to cane. I can change plan to plane. I make a vowel say its name
Good morning,
when I play the
Jaya. Good to
jumping
see you,
game.
too.
Let's try a few more. I can change dim to dime. I can change slim to slime. I make a vowel say its name when I play the jumping game. I can change bit to bite. I can change kit to kite. I make a vowel say its name when I play the jumping game. I can change car to care. I can change star to stare. I make a vowel say its name when I play the jumping game. Wait, I have a few more tricks up my sleeve. You think changing a vowel was easy? I can change C and G just by standing next to them. I can change G to J. I can change K to S. When they stand next to me, I change the C and the G. Let's give it a try. You don't say rack, you say grass. Wait, stop. I know what you're thinking. I need to change both sounds. You don't say rap, you say grace. You don't say fact, you say face. I change the vowel and the C when they stand next to me. You don't say rag, you say rage. You don't say sag, you say sage. I change the vowel and the G when they stand next to me.
All right. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I love those songs so much. I think they're very helpful educational songs that help your brain think about those sounds. And if you're moving along, that also kind of helps because then you're putting it into action as well. See it, think it, sing it, do it, you know, all those things. Today I thought we'd do a little something different. Hold on, Owen, I'll get to you in just a second. Okay, sweetheart. I'm gonna let a lady on YouTube read the Animal Adaptation story, just because I couldn't find a really good one that I liked in my classroom library, because it's also a little bit of a mess right now. So I'm trying to locate the books, but I thought this one was really, really nice, and she does a nice job of showing you guys the different parts of the nonfiction book, which I appreciate. Troy, good morning. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to watch a couple of videos on animal adaptations also. So I thought you guys might enjoy that, because second graders, the focus you had this week was animal adaptations, right? In your stories on Wonders. Those of you who are reading along on the Wonder stories. Jaya, you look half asleep, girlfriend. Maybe we need to stand up and do some quick jumping jacks to wake up. Looks like Jaya's trying to nap on the job here. All right, let's stand. Everybody stand up very, very quickly. Let's stand. Okay, I want you to reach up, touch the sky. I want you to stretch to the right. Oh, and stretch to the left. Oh, yeah. Take some deep breaths in. And deep breaths out. Remember that oxygen wakes up your brain. Shake your body to the right. Shake your body to the left. Jimmy, I can't see you shaking. Okay, stand up straight again. All the way up. Come on, Jaya. Touch the sky, Jaya. Touch the sky. And touch your toes. Oh, yeah. Stretch that back. I found a pen under my desk. All right. Oh, yeah. Nice long stretch. Stand back up again. Shake your arms. Shake your inner arms. You know, there's a song that I like that's like, dance like you got ants in your pants. Dance like you've got ants in your pants. Dance like you've got bees on your knees. Dance like you've got bees on your knees. Jaya, you're not moving. You're the one looking like your little sleepy thing. All right, everybody. Now that we've moved our bodies and we've taken some deep breaths and we've woken up a little bit, hopefully Jaya's ready to join us. But, okay. Let me find our story and get ready for it to read. And then we can do a couple of animal adaptation videos.
By Julie Murphy.
Desert Animal
Here's
Adaptation.
the table of contents. The first section is called About Desert Animals, and that means that if you go to that section, you'll learn about desert animals. The second section is called Body Parts, and that means you can learn about how the body parts of certain animals help them adapt to the desert.
Ashlyn,
The
please
third
move your
section is
Chromebook
called
again.
Body coverings. That section will tell us how animals use the coverings on their body to help them stay cool in the desert. The last section is called Behavior, and that section is going to tell us all about the behavior of desert animals. Here's a glossary. Here are two sections that are on the same page. One is called Read More, and the other is called Internet Sites. If you go to that page, it'll show you different books about desert animals and also about some websites you can go to learn more about desert animal adaptations. And the last section of this book is an index. Lots of real-life information, a table of contents, a glossary, and an index. You know what kind of book this is. It's a non-fiction text. Here's the first section. About desert animals. Deserts are dry places. Some.
Do you guys remember what nonfiction text means? What does that mean if it's a nonfiction text? Anybody? Say, Haiti, you look like you're frozen, girlfriend. Sorry. Let's see, Troy, do you remember what a nonfiction text is?
That means the text is telling us a real thing about the desert.
Right, it's not fiction. It's not make-believe. Okay, fiction means it's made up, make-believe. Nonfiction is not made up, not make-believe. It is real, true information. Mute your mics, please.
And others are freezing cold. Some deserts are both.
right? We're a little bit of
Desert
both.
animals
We're a
have
hot
special
desert
ways
and a
of
cold
finding
desert.
food, water, and shelter. These ways are called adaptations. Here's the second section. This is called body parts. Here is a real picture of a fennec fox. Could you keep your cool in a hot desert? The fennec fox does. Jumbo-sized ears release body heat into the air. The fox's silky fur reflects sunlight like a mirror. Its furry feet act like shoes. They protect the fox's tender toes from the hot sand. Kangaroo rats avoid the desert heat a different way. These rats are nocturnal. That means they come out at nighttime. Their huge eyes see well, even when it gets dark. Marsupial moles don't need eyes at all. They live in cool, dark tunnels beneath the desert. Scoop-like hands are terrific for digging and gripping prey. Why wear snowshoes in the desert? The wet-foot gecko zips across the hot sand without sinking. Wide feet make digging super easy, too. What do camels keep in their humps? Fat. Stored fat allows camels to live several months without eating. How's that for a neat desert trick? Camels also have double rows of eyelashes and nostrils that close. This keeps sand and dust out of the camel's eyes and nose. Here's the next section. It's called body coverings. In very cold deserts, some animals wear 2 fur coats to stay warm. This yak's long, shaggy hair nearly touches the ground. It's the yak's jacket. And the soft, warm hair underneath is its woolly underwear. In hot deserts, thick, scaly skin protect tortoises from the sun. Tortoises store water in their bodies and rarely drink or pee. Many desert tarantulas are lighter than tropical tarantulas. Dark colors hold in heat. A light-colored body keeps this spider cool. Here's the last section, behavior. Elf owls nest inside big cactuses. A cactus is cool, shady, and safe from predators. How does a desert frog keep from drying out? Spencer's burrowing frogs live underground. They only come to the surface to mate after rare, heavy rains. Goanna moms have a clever way to keep their eggs safe in the desert. The lizard digs a hole in the termite mound and lays her eggs inside. Termites patch the hole after she leaves. Inside the mound, her eggs stay cool and protected. At hatching time, the mom returns to free her babies. There are many ways desert animals beat the heat. A wheeling spider rolls and bounces along the sand's hot surface. A pebble mound mouse builds a pile of stones over its burrow. The stones keep out hot air. The burrow stays cool and cozy all year round. Thirsty? There is water in the desert if you know where to look. This white-winged dove sits from a saguaro cactus. Its fruit has juicy nectar. Early in the morning, the thorny devil rubs itself on grass. Dewdrops fall onto the lizard's spines and roll into its mouth. The glossary. Remember, these words are also in alphabetical order. That means that they start at the letter A and they work their way through the alphabet. Here's a word that you might not have known what it meant. It says mate. This word means to produce young or to have babies. Here's that section we were talking about earlier. And they work their way through.
Hold on. So, in all these words in the glossary, we have adaptation, which is what we've been practicing this week, second graders. Adaptation is a change a living thing goes through to better fit in with its environment. So over time, they have changed or adapted in order to fit in their environment. Burrow, a tunnel or hole in the ground made or used by an animal. Burrow also means to dig in the ground. Dew, small amount of water drops that collect overnight on outside surfaces, such as plant leaves. Hatch, to break out of an egg. You already did mate, which is to produce young. Nectar, a mix of juice and pulp. Predator, an animal that hunts other animals for food. Spine, a sharp, pointed growth.
Through the alphabet. Here's a word that you might not have known. The read more and the internet sites. Over here, there are 3 books about desert animals and about how they adapt to the desert. Look at this section. It's called Internet Sites. FactHound offers a safe way to find internet sites related to this book.
So if you guys really wanted to learn more about desert animals and desert habitats and adaptations, I did assign you guys some more stuff on Epic, and you can always search Epic for some of the titles related. But you could also ask Miss Holly. Say, Miss Holly, do you have the book called Desert Animals in the Animals in the Wild? Or you could say, do you have baby animals in desert habitats? The history of baby animals? Or do you have animal camouflage in the desert? Hidden in nature? Do you have any of those books? Or do you have a book that's similar to that? Similar means alike. And you could go to Miss Holly, and Miss Holly is an excellent resource. And then, of course, you can also look at different internet sites. This one's recommending FactHound, and it gives you a code that you would type in specifically for these facts. But you can also go to Nat Geo Kids and things like that to look up different information on animal adaptation.
All of the sites on FactHound have been researched by the staff. So all you have to do is visit www.facthound.com, type in that code, and then you can safely search all about desert adaptations on that website. Here's the last section, the index. Remember, if a story has real pictures, labels, a table of contents, a glossary, and an index, we know that this is a nonfiction book. This Desert Animal Adaptation book by Julie Murphy is a book in a collection. Did you notice that I read a very similar book about ocean? The index.
Okay, hold on. I want to talk about the index for a minute. She just kind of skipped over it. So the index, if you wanted to say, ooh, I want to know about burrows, or I want to reread the section on burrows, you find the word burrows in the index, and you look and you'd go to page 23. If you wanted to reread the section just about camels and not the whole thing that camels were in, that whole the section that camels were in, but you just wanted to read about camels, you could look up camels in the index and you'd go to page 12 and 13. Okay, because remember, we had different things in the table of contents. It would cover specific things like body parts, and you're like, ooh, I think camels were in bodies, but I don't want to reread the whole body section. I just want to reread the camel section. That's where you'd go to that pages 12 to 13. If you want to read about, drinking and how much different animals drank, and that was the only thing you'd want to check, you'd want to check pages 16, 24, and 27. If you wanted to learn about eyes, different animals' eyes, how they have adaptations, you'd go to pages 8, 9, and 13. So an index can be very helpful when you want to know something very specific. If you just want to read the section on fennec foxes, or just where it mentions different fur types or things like that. So that's what index's purpose is for. All right. So now we get to compare texts a little bit. We're so we just read a story on desert animals, and now we can watch a little informational video on desert animals, and we get to compare, is some of the information the same? Is some of the information different? That's what's nice about reading different things, is sometimes you'll get additional information by watching or reading additional stories, and sometimes you'll just be able to say, ooh, I know this information is correct because I read about it in this book, and I read about it in this book, and I saw it on this educational video, so I know that information is correct. So that's why it's kind of nice to check out different sources.
Desert. How do they protect themselves from the heat? And how do they find enough water? Are there animals that do not have
Max,
to drink
please
at
take
all?
that off of your
Now
head,
in
hon.
Animals that live in the desert. How do animals survive the heat? A desert is a landscape with hardly any rain and very few plants. Some deserts are so hot that the rain evaporates before reaching the ground. During the day, temperatures can reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit. At night, they can be as low as 24 degrees Fahrenheit. The largest deserts are the Sahara in North Africa, the Gobi Desert in Asia, and the Kalahari Desert in the south of Africa. In the extremely dry and hot sand deserts, it's nearly impossible to find some food. Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's hot. Ooh, that's hot. Therefore, many animals live on the rim of those deserts. Desert grass, cactuses, agaves, and thorn bushes grow there. How do animals survive in the desert? Camels are perfectly adapted to the life in the desert. This is why
did we
they're
learn
often
about
called
little camels
ships of the
earlier?
desert. They can spend weeks without any water and food. But not me. Where's the next supermarket? Their feet are so soft that they broaden when touching the ground. This helps them not to sink too deeply into the sand. Not even a sandstorm affects them, as hairs in their ears and their eyelashes keep away sand and dust. This ground squirrel lives in the deserts of Africa. It's active during the day when the desert ground can reach temperatures of more than 140 degrees Fahrenheit. But the ground squirrel has an ingenious trick. It provides itself some shade with its bushy tail. Wherever it goes, it has its sunshade ready to use. Meerkats are also active during the day. They rely on their eyesight when it comes to spotting predators from afar. In order to get the best view, they stand on their hind legs and stretch themselves upward. The black shades around their eyes help to protect the animals from being dazzled. They're just like sunglasses. What does the snake do here? It seems to be floating above the desert sand. And this is what it almost does. With its sideward movements, the snake can better control its way across the loose sand and hardly has to touch the hot ground. Damn it! Why can't I do it? Why can the snake do it? The thorny devil has a brilliant trick to get some water. During the night, dew condenses on their bodies. It forms little drops of water on the animal's scales to directly enter the thorny devil's mouth, just like a rain gutter. There are also elephants living in the desert. They have several tricks to cope with the heat. When finding a water hole, they sprinkle themselves with mud. This has the same effect as a sunblocker and helps them not to get sunburned. The mud is also refreshing in the baking heat.
What do you think? Instead of putting on sunscreen, should you guys put mud on your skin? Sunscreen probably works better for humans,
Desert jerboa and the Dorcas gazelle never have to drink any water at all. They consume it with their food. The fennec and the black-tailed jackrabbit do not only have their large ears for better hearing. When it's hot, they pump blood into their ears to cool down. The Animal Fun Facts Roundup. How do animals survive in the desert? During the day, many animals look for shelter in caves and crevices. They sleep until night. Then they become active. Animals use water holes to drink or take up liquids.
All right. So we learned some more things about animals in the desert, and some of the things we confirmed, like we saw stuff earlier about animals in the desert, right? Like we heard the same thing about camels, but we heard also some additional facts about camels. So now we're going to compare to how animals in the Arctic.
How do animals survive in the icy Arctic? How do they protect themselves from freezing? How do they find food? What actually is a tundra? Now in Animals in the Arctic. How do animals survive the Arctic cold? In the Arctic, temperatures drop as low as -58 degrees Fahrenheit during the winter. Isn't it much too cold to live there? However, some animals still have their home there. But wait, where exactly is the Arctic? The Arctic is an extremely cold area at the North Pole, the northern end of the world. Arctic is a Greek term, by the way, and means bear. How do animals survive in the Arctic? The polar bear has a thick layer of fat that keeps the cold away, but that's not all. The hairs in its dense fur are hollow inside and are particularly good at storing the heat of the sun. The Arctic.
So some of that was kind of similar to the animals in the desert, huh? But the animals in the desert have fat so that they don't, they could survive without eating for a while. And the animals in the winter have fat to keep them warm, and then, or in the Arctic, I mean, to keep them warm. And then also when they, if they hibernate.
Fox also has a super dense fur. It has the warmest fur of all animals. 70% of it is made up of a soft undercoat. The muskox has an extremely long and shaggy outer coat, but it's primarily its woolly undercoat that keeps it warm. It's 8 times as warm as sheep's wool. Reindeer have a special trick against the cold. They feed on moss, which contains a particular substance that protects their blood from freezing. They also have special, very soft hooves that broaden when touching the ground. This
That's like the
prevents them
camel
from
in the
sinking
desert.
in on snowy surfaces. Like snowshoes. Only 48 mammal species live in the Arctic region, but there are quite a lot of birds. The snowy owl, for instance. Its warm plumage even covers its feet. Another one is the great gray owl. Yet, at the beginning of winter, most birds move south, like the Arctic tern, the puffin, and the tundra swan. Life in the tundra. Most animals don't live on the ice or in the snow, but in the tundra, a barren landscape with bushes and moss. During the summer, temperatures rise up to 54 degrees Celsius, but the ground remains frozen the entire year. This is the reason why there are no trees in the tundra. Their roots would die from the cold. Adapting to the habitat. This is an Arctic hare. Well, this is an Arctic hare too. How is that even possible? During the winter, many animals have a white fur or a white plumage to be well camouflaged in the snow. During the summer, the snow melts and the brown soil comes to the surface. Then, the animals change their color. The stoat and the reindeer lose their white coat. The Animal Fun Facts Roundup. How do animals keep warm in the Arctic? They have a thick layer of fat, a woolly coat, or a dense plumage. The animals of the Arctic and the tundra live in caves, move to the south when the winter approaches, or they hibernate.
All right. That was really cool to be able to compare animals in the Arctic and animals in the desert. And some of them had very similar things, like the reindeer have those wide, soft hooves so that they can walk on the snow without sinking. And camels have wide, soft hooves so they can walk on the sand without sinking. So I bet you guys didn't think about how they could be so similar. Pretty cool. Do you guys have any things you want to share or fun facts? If I was reading those books right here in the class, we would go back and we double check some of those in the books, but we did at least get to see them in the video and the book online. Jimmy?
Jay gave me a tattoo of Pichu.
Okay, I guess I should have clarified. I meant cool things about the stories. About the stories and the information that we learned, okay? Tell me about that after the meeting. I'd love to hear about that after, okay?
Snow fox fur is white, so that's how they blend in.
Yes, very
The
good.
snow.
Very good. Owen?
Everyone's cameras are muted.
Oh, you know what, Owen? It's not, their cameras aren't muted. Like, I can see them all. So what, the internet is just probably being a little fussy at your house, okay?
Okay.
But could you see the story in the books?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, so that's the important part. If you can't see other people, it's kind of a bummer because you like to see our classmates, but the important part is that you saw the things that we were showing, so that's good.
Yeah, I had a question too.
Okay.
Doesn't in the desert the water get hot?
The desert, like the what get hot in the desert? Repeat that.
The water gets hot in the desert?
Well, sometimes, and it depends on how deep the thing is, but sometimes the water gets warm and then it evaporates into the air, right? But that's why animals who live in the desert have to be very good at storing water.
Oh.
Right? And so that's why some animals stored it in their hump. Like the camels, they stored it in the fat in their hump. Other animals just get really used to not drinking very much water. So anyway, Miranda? You want to share something with us? No, you were just stretching? Okay. Troy?
The Arctic oxes, like my coat can grow up to like 20 inches long.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know where you got your facts on that, sweetie. So I would check that. 20 inches would be a really long coat. Like 20 inches would be like this long. I don't think that that's accurate for the Arctic fox, but it might be accurate for other animals. So check your research, okay? Maybe they meant 20 centimeters long, which would be like this long. That would be more reasonable. So check your source and see what it said. All right. Amy.
I can't wait until we get back to school.
You'd share that at the end, all right? Did you have anything about the text? Let's share that.
I noticed that camels have really big backs, like it's their hump, and they have water and food in their hump.
Yeah. Okay, we only have time to do a couple more people. Elizabeth and Jaya look like they're raising their hands right now. So we'll go Elizabeth first and then Jaya.
So, the Arctic, I don't remember what the name was.
The Arctic fox or the Arctic hare?
The Arctic hare.
Okay, that was the rabbit, right? What about it?
It has white on their fur and so it matches the snow.
Right, it has white in its fur during the winter, and then it turns brown in the spring and summer. Right? Very good. Jaya, last one. Share your thoughts about the information that we learned.
Sometimes it could rain in the desert. There could be like in a desert and it could flood if there's enough rain.
Right? Sometimes when there's enough rain, it will flood in the desert, especially because there's not as much vegetation to like soak up all that rain.
And then
okay.
Other animals come out.
Yep, that too. All right, boys and girls, I had a lot of fun learning about animal adaptations with you. I hope you guys learned some things and enjoyed yourselves. Also, kiss your brains for all that thinking. And I will see you guys for our math meeting, okay? Bye.
Bye. Bye.